Antifa anarchy returns to liberal cities as Joe Biden takes office. The media said we would see violent pro-Trump protests on Inauguration Day. Instead, we saw far-left rioters wreaking havoc across Oregon. And in Portland, Black Lives Matter holding a sign saying we don't want Biden, we want revenge. They targeted Democrat Party headquarters and ICE. But when it's the far left, they get off easy. Charges against one guy arrested for assaulting police just dropped by the morning. Typical. Police confiscated Molotov cocktails, knives, batons, chemical spray, crowbars. In Seattle, windows smashed and property destroyed all across the city. In Denver, rioters burned American flags. Looks like they didn't get the unity memo. Biden has not condemned the violence yet. We're still waiting. And the media typically ignored it. Joining me now to react, Seattle talk show host Jason Rantz. So Jason, they told us that it was going to be a pro-Trump mob sweeping 50 capitals across the country. It turns out it was an Antifa mob in a few places in the Northwest. What are people saying out there?
Surprisingly, they are saying nothing. The council in Seattle, the mayor of Seattle, politicians in Portland and all across Oregon and Washington state really aren't saying anything. There's been this tendency to completely ignore the Antifa violence because, after all, Antifa is a myth. It was created by the right wing. And maybe if the people who do acknowledge it, they simply call it an idea. An idea, of course, that, as you can see from all the videos and images, end up destroying lots of businesses and hurting lots of people. It is pretty remarkable. And there's this movement on the ground with sort of not just the activists in the community, but just progressives who live in Portland and Seattle pushing back on social media saying, there wasn't a riot. What are you talking about? This is nothing. This is being overblown. People are just wanting to take attention away from the real issues that we should be focusing on, which is, of course, white nationalists and other right-wing militia groups that are the real threats here. It's pretty predictable, and it usually is.
When we saw protests like this during the Trump administration, we were told by the media that Trump was instigating these violent clashes and that the police were actually doing more harm than good. And when Trump left, none of this would happen anymore. That's obviously not the case. So how long do you continue this to last?
This is going to last until there's actually politicians who get serious about not just condemning this kind of violence. All political violence needs to be condemned. Republicans have figured this out. We're the ones who've been doing it. Democrats, not so much. But you also have to allow police to do their jobs and get people in positions to prosecute. Because every single time you have one of these cases where cops finally can do their jobs, they make the arrests, the charges end up going nowhere.
Right, and all of these DAs, they're allies of the Democrat Party. A lot of them are Soros-funded. They have very soft-on-crime track records. They want to de-incarcerate the population, even if they do throw hammers through glass and throw Molotov cocktails. It's unbelievable. All right, Jason, stay safe. Make sure the Starbucks you go into isn't torched. Good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck to me.
The corrupt media already